Ridiculous.
Here we are at the Paper House. Yes, the Paper House in Pigeon Cove, Rockport, Massachusetts. And it's more like a cottage than a full-fledged house. But this very unusual place was built by Ellis and Esther Stenman back in early 1920s. Mr. Stenman was an avid newspaper reader, and he didn't want to throw the papers away, so he did a little experiment. And what he did with over 100,000 newspapers is make this very interesting little cottage or home and furniture, including this clock, this grandfather clock, which probably still works if it was wound. And this particular clock was made from newspapers of state capitals from around the United States. You can zoom in on a little bit. You could see the Evening Star, the Sunday Star, Sacramento Bee, the Oregon Statesman, and many of the Denver Post. And probably the piece de resistance is this piano, as I'm turning slowly here, made out of newspaper. Now, of course, the keys aren't made out of newspaper, but the cabinet portion of it is. And there's a bookcase containing foreign newspapers and other furniture made out of newspaper. Oh, here's a desk that gives an account of Charles Lindbergh's famous flight. So, you know, the vintage of this paper. This house was featured, or one of the many weird places in a book called Weird New England. And this is how we were prompted to find it. And I've been to Rockport a number of times, and it's a piece of property up the road that I was involved in as a trustee. I never knew this place existed, but is quite is a beautiful chair here. The house is open pretty much spring, fall, and summer, and it's just a couple of dollars admission to come in and check this out. They rolled these newspapers, and then they wrapped it in wire, and they treated it. And as you see, it's not insulated, but you see the roof here, and of course they have regular beams and so forth. And they treated the newspaper, so it's sort of waterproof, although time has taken its toll a little bit. Approximately 100,000 copies of newspapers have been used in the construction of the house and furniture. It was started merely as an experiment to see what could be done with newspapers without destroying the print, and the experiment was a success. And it was started in 1922. The newspapers were made into different layers, each having been pasted and folded. The walls, when finished, consist of 215 thickness. So that must be newspaper thickness. So newspapers are pretty thin, aren't they? We're going to take a little walk outside in the porch area, and then at the front of the house. Notice I have some type of lacquer here that makes it waterproof to some extent. A beautiful little rock garden right in front of the house too, which is very appealing. Yeah, it's very fascinating. Here you see the house here. Definitely, if you're in the area, I would recommend a visit of this very fine and unusual place. The Paper House.